Well, not a lot of ways to put a positive spin on this one. Kevin Huerter struggling tonight in the three-point contest, finishing with only 8 points after making just 5 threes out of a possible 27 total shots. The beautiful thing about baseball is that over the course of a 162-game season, you never know when you might see something special. Magic always just seems to be right around the corner. And tonight in Oakland, we saw just that. Unfortunately for the A's, it came at their expense. Game 4, always a huge swing game in the NBA playoffs, and for the Kings and Warriors, that is especially true. A win for Sacramento sets them up for a closeout opportunity back at home on Wednesday. A loss, and this series suddenly turns into a best-of-3. Unless you were at the arena, you missed most of the first half of tonight's Raptors-Kings game. The broadcast had issues that kept the game from being on air, and if you watched the second half on TV, well, you probably wish the broadcast just never made air to begin with. Fortunately for you, or unfortunately, our son Cunningham was at the Golden One Center. He knows it's going to get hit and it's going to hurt more throughout the course of the game with all that contact, but his main focus is on the pad of his index finger, which helps him with the feel and handle the ball while dribbling and shooting. So we'll just have to see how he handles all of that through the course of these 48 minutes. Good evening to you from the campus of UNLV for Summer League action. But before we get to everything here going on in Las Vegas, let's start with the big news with the Kings locking up Domas Sabonis. There's this one place called Ishkabibbles. I think someone might have just made that up when they gave me a name. You've got Jim's, you've also got Tony Luke's. I don't know if we're going to have time to check out all of them. I don't know if my arteries can take it, but I do want to tell you that I made that run up the Rocky Steps within an hour of crushing those 2 cheesesteaks back to back. So that's probably my greatest accomplishment this weekend.
All right, Chris, kind of a big weekend.
Yeah, Blink-182 playing their first reunion show with Tom DeLonge down in Coachella right now. They're about to walk on this stage. It's huge.
I knew that's what you were going to say. Yeah. I just knew it.
I'm pumped. And the Kings are also getting ready to play their first playoff game in Sacramento in 17 years. We'll tell you what they have to say about the fans and the atmosphere inside the G1C coming up after the break. You showed it, that pick 6 from Talanoa Hufanga. They had a ridiculous 7 sacks on Matthew Stafford. They limited them to just 57 yards rushing, and for the second time this season, they kept the opponent out of the end zone altogether. And offensively, it looked like a completely different team from last week. They had 327 yards of total offense, 4 separate plays of 20 yards or more, and most importantly, like I said, they got the win, especially after a rough Week 3 loss against Denver. Oh, and by the way, they got to do so against a divisional opponent that also ended their season last year. The Big 12 was born out of the Big 8 when the Southwest Conference died, and the Pac-12 was the Pac-10 when we were in school. It was the Pac-8 before that till like 1976 when they added Arizona and Arizona State. So like there's always a little bit of movement, but usually it makes sense with regionality, but that's just gone out the window with these exorbitant rights fees for that networks like NBC and Fox Sports and ABC are paying to try and get these conferences, and that's all anybody's chasing. And it all comes down to just football too. Basketball doesn't matter, men's or women's, baseball doesn't matter, water polo, nobody cares about any of that.
It's just football
is driving everything, but all the other sports are going to suffer. When you look back on this past year, what do you think of?
It went by flying. I can't believe I got traded almost a year ago, and a year has passed, you know. But I've been loving every moment since, and I can't wait to see what's held in the future.
I know in your personal life you've gone through a whole bunch of changes in this past year. What are some of the things that stand out the most to you?
You know, just obviously getting traded, you know, having my son, you know, and that's it. You know, everything else has gone so fast, you know, after I had my kid. You know, just working, trying to get better as a player, you know, spending time with the family and trying to get as many wins for this franchise as we can.
Yeah, and Keegan Murray being on this roster, I think, was a bit of a surprise for some people. This is a guy who was first-team All-Rookie after last season. He got some Rookie of the Year votes, but what are you seeing from him, and how big of a deal is it that he's taking part in Summer League after having such a great rookie year last season?
Yeah, I mean, look, he could have told the Kings, no, I'd rather not.
Our Kirsten Keller now joins us. You were in that post-game press conference, and I got to imagine, despite taking a 2-0 series lead, the majority of the conversation was about that stomp from Draymond Green on Domas Sabonis.
That's exactly it. Everybody was asking if Domantas Sabonis is okay.
I mean, to your point, we were watching the game, and late in the game, I was saying, Purdy, like, his numbers are looking good, but he just hasn't looked that great. It was a slow start. A lot of his passes weren't exactly on the mark for his receivers, which is a little uncharacteristic from what we're used to seeing from him. But then he hits that 27-yard touchdown to Deebo Samuel. I go, Okay. I take back what I said. He looked pretty solid.
He looked pretty solid, and he started out rough, like you mentioned.
49ers are playing on Thursday night for the first time all season, taking on the division rival Seahawks, and in line to become just the second team in the league to lock up a playoff berth. Brock Purdy gets the start despite his oblique/rib injury. He's looking to lead the Niners to a 7th straight win and an NFC West crown. And how about this play from the rookie? First quarter, double pumps, then hits George Kittle wide open in the middle of the field, and he does the rest for a 28-yard touchdown and a 7-0 lead. Late in the first half, Seattle's got a field goal. Geno Smith dumping it off to Travis Homer, but he takes a big hit from Jimmy Ward and Dre Greenlaw. Charvarius Ward recovers the fumble and nearly a scoop and score. He's taken down at the 6-yard line, and with less than a minute left on the clock, Christian McCaffrey punches it in to take a 14-3 lead into the break. Third quarter, the Purdy to Kittle connection continues to reap huge benefits. He hits him on the flag route, and look at the run after the catch. Kittle cuts it in, breaks a couple of tackles, and he houses it for a 54-yard touchdown. Purdy finishes 17-26, 217 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks, and only 1 sack. A great performance from the rookie. But the Seahawks get back in it. Smith to Noah Fant. Blown coverage from Talanoa Hufanga makes it a 1-possession game, but San Francisco puts this one on ice. Jordan Mason breaks one off for 55 yards, and that's the game. Victory formation for Purdy to take the knee as the Niners win it 21-13 to win the NFC West.